Mayor, right now, can you help us understand what you're doing in Chicago? You've put this advisory in order, but it's not mandatory. How does that work? Who's going to listen?
Well, look, what we announced yesterday, our new Protect Chicago campaign, really has three components. One is the stay-at-home advisory. And we're really urging folks, like in the spring, to really restrict their activities outside of their home. Obviously, if you've got to go to work, you got to go to school, you got to go get medical supplies or groceries. But we know that one of the biggest challenges that we face now, which is different than in the spring, is the spread in private places, in homes, event spaces. People are still having gatherings like weddings, of course, and funerals, but also there's a contingent in the city that don't understand that you can't party like it was February. We're in the middle of a pandemic. So we are placing this huge emphasis on staying home, limiting the number of people that you're coming into contact on a daily basis. The second part of it, which is also critically important, is really a street level ground activation. We are going hyper-local, particularly in those blocks and zip codes and census tracts where we're seeing percent positivity go through the roof. Our daily average for the city is 14.5, but there are neighborhoods in our city that are 25% or higher. So we are reaching out to trusted partners in those communities. We're activating people across the city to help us literally go door to door with information, connect people up to services, get them to testing, and really try to debunk a lot of myths and fears, particularly among our immigrant and refugee community who are skeptical of government and skeptical of the healthcare system, but are suffering mightily under this virus. And the third part of it is stepped up enforcement. Go ahead.
One of the reasons people feel frustrated or skeptical is they're getting a lot of mixed messages. What do you say to those who are criticizing you, where less than a week ago, you went out and stood before a massive crowd who was celebrating Joe Biden's victory, and now you're saying your city has to shut down? How do you have one and not the other?
Well, look, I think that we've been saying all along, everybody has to take care. Everybody has to take precaution. I will tell you, in that big crowd a week ago, everybody was wearing masks. You can see the shot here. Mask compliance in our city is actually up very, very high. But yes, there are times when we actually do need to have a relief and come together. And I felt like that was one of those times. That crowd was gathered whether I was there or not. But this has been a super hard year on everyone. Everyone feels traumatized. They feel threatened, their safety, and they don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And with this new surge in cases, we have just got to step up and do the right thing. And I think people understand that. You know, we know a lot more, Stephanie, than what we knew back in the spring. We've got a lot more data. We understand better on how this virus spreads. Back in the spring, when we issued these blanket stay-at-home orders, it was because we really didn't understand where the risk was, so we were trying to mitigate it everywhere. We now have a lot more data, and we can use a surgeon's knife and not just a blunt instrument to try to really go at where we're seeing the biggest risk and help mitigate them. And for us right now, the biggest risk that we're seeing in our city is in these private spaces and gatherings. So we want to support our economy as best we can, but we've got to do the things that we know are necessary to save lives.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.